So welcome back to Sorare Wakey Academy, and today we're looking at the under-23s in Belgium's Jupiler Pro League. It'll be in an SO5 format and a few backups as well to add to that, and they'll be good value for money players. They're not going to be the best players that they've got in the league at under-23, but they will be sort of like really good value, and it will cover all sort of price ranges as well. You'll find the shortlist on soraredata, and there'll also be a link below this video here so you can have a look at it if you need to. That will be open to the public basically straight after the video. Now remember, you need to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Just go and hit that like button now. Subscribe so you don't miss any of this content as well, because we're going all around the countries, different countries. You can look back over the ones we've already visited, which was, I think, so far the top 4 clubs less the Premier League, because it's not out yet. And now we're going around to different countries as well, all over the world. So let's get started then. This is Belgium's under-23s, and the first player I'm going for is goalkeepers, obviously. It's an SO5 format, so we've got one goalkeeper, and we're going for Lennart Moser, who's at AS Jupiler. Obviously they're all in the Jupiler Pro League, but he's 23, or under-23s until July 24, so we've got 18 months left of him. Now price-wise, he's a starting goalkeeper, and he's £61. So I know a few of you just starting out might be a bit too high for you, but there's a couple more backups that you can have a look at as well. But this is the one that I would have chosen here. Overall is 295th overall goalkeeper. He's a German, and we're going to have a look at his. We'll have a look at his price graph first to see if he's moved up or down recently. We'll have a look at 6 months, and yeah, he started up here at like 180, but obviously the price has crashed a little bit, and now he's all the way down to £60 So I think a real good price for him. Let's have a look at his SO5 scores then, and I want to have a look at his overall scores. And we'll see on here, he has got some decent scores, 90s and 80s, but he does get that odd mistake where he's hit 12s, 14 and 7. So it's sort of a hit and miss type of goalkeeper, but he's playing every single game now. He's broken into this team. You can see all the way down here then, he's been playing nearly every single week. A couple of mistakes in here along the way. Remember on this list, if you do have the full version of soraredata, you can have a look down here and see what happened with him. Click on his score and it'll show you his score and what happened. 1 error led to goal. Similarly, you can go on here and you can press on this team here, and that was a 5-all draw. You can click on it and it will open up the whole game like you do sometimes. You know when you watch on match day sometimes, and you see everybody's score from that day in the team and what positions they all played. Pretty decent tool, I think that. But let's have a look at then. Lennart Moser, his Wikipedia page, and this guy is pretty big, this bloke. 6'6", so 1.97 metres. It's a big goalkeeper at this age. He started his career at Union Berlin. Didn't play for them at all. Went on loan to Energy Cottbus in Germany, and then Cercle Bruges in Belgium. Then Austria, Klagenfurt. Played 7 games there before eventually moving to Eupen, where he's now been, like I said, the number 1 now. Broken to team, he's now number 1. On his Sofa squad, and looking down his ratings here, a couple of bad games again, and then a decent one. You've just seen these games as I was showing you on all the results that he's had. One was on soraredata. But his heat map, he doesn't come out a lot. You see, he stays in his area, commands his area. According to this, there's no weaknesses or strengths, so they don't know much about him, I don't think. But he has played 19 games and started 18 of them. 88 minutes per game, so that's an average. So that one game that he did miss is just knocking this down from 90. Team of the week 3 times in 19 games, which is quite good for Eupen. Quite a low side in the league then at the moment. And he's conceding a lot of goals. Where was it up here? Concedes 1.9 goals per game. That's a hell of a lot to concede. But I think he's had 4 clean sheets. Well, clean sheets 4, yeah, so 4 clean sheets. Not bad for a team that are really struggling. There's nothing on him about news-wise, and there's no news on the transfer or anything like that. But let's go and look at his team where they are in the league then. And you'll see right down here at the bottom, down in 15th. And of course they've got Steph Peters missing at the moment, who's injured, so they might move up slightly and get out of that relegation zone, I would have thought. Maybe Kortrijk and Mechelen going down instead. But when we look at his all-round game, let's go to the last. In fact, we'll keep it at 15 because he hasn't been in for 40 games. So his last 15, his all-round averages is, where is he on this list? Down here in like 4th place, 5th place. And he's 3rd on the top average scores. Net decisives won't really have anything on there. Well, he's got 3 in fact. That's not bad, is it? 3 decisives. Penalty saves, that was one of them, wasn't it? And clean sheets. So Top minutes played is Moser as well, so he's in there, he's number one, he's not moving. Of course, he's not going to be on these lists here for free kicks and stuff. But I think he's a decent goalkeeper. The defence keeps moving around and changing them. I love Boris as well, Boris Lambert, decent defender. But I think when Peters is back as well, they might change a little bit and he may improve. But that's my goalkeeper then, and that is Lennart Moser from Eupen. And if we have a look at the watch list then for the goalkeepers, you see I've put two of us on there, and I put Toby Leysen because we know Van der Voort is going soon, but there's rumours that he was going very early, even a year early. So come the summer, or even before the transfer window ends, he might have gone. So Toby Leysen would become that number one, we hope. We've also put Abdul Nuruddin on there. He's only £8. You can go and have a look at him. He was number one for a while, and then lost his place, and then played in the World Cup or Europe for his national team, and wasn't fantastic. And he's dropped his place. He's sort of lost it now. He needs to get back into that and get it back. So they're the three goalkeepers that I picked from Belgium. And so we move on to our defender, and a few of you will know this guy, Louis Patrice, who's at Leuven. He is under 23 until 2025, so lots of time on this guy. He's got lots of time to mature as well. Now it's got him down as playing at possibly centre back now and again, or right defender. Now I've seen this guy bombing up and down the wing. Really is coming into his own at the moment. And although he's quite expensive, especially for a defender in this league, it's £26 for what he played today, but £25 for his 3-day average. And looking at his scores, his L5 was 69. He's just massive. But when you look at the scores that he's been getting recently, you'll see why. And a last 40 of 54 as well. Only played 68% of them games, or is it 88%, sorry. But you'll see why, because he's only just broken into the team just recently. And I think it's going to be a great defender, this one. Let's have a look at first his price. And you see the 25, 26 there, but look at him, the way he's going up at the moment. Then let's look at 6 months ago. And he was really good. He was supposed to be this wonder kid coming through and didn't really get into the team. And he was on the bench, and then all the way down. The prices went down, of course, on Sorare as well. The price of beef and everything. But then he's starting to fly back up again now. And I got one for £24 there, I think it was. And he's up now, he's up at, £29. So he's in pre-buy about £5 for myself. But really interesting player. I mean, even look at his super rare. 1 month average is only 276. That's a massive. I might have to go and buy one of them, 276. I doubt it'll be that now. Yeah, look at the floor price, 4,000. But he's really coming to his own. And let's go and look at his SL5 scores just to prove this. And have a look at his all-time scores, because he has been on the bench a lot before he broke in. You can see he was getting the odd game. He quite promising when he played that first match, and the prices went up. But then the next game he was crap. Next game didn't really play, 45 minutes there, sorry. And a lot of DNPs before breaking back in again and having a really poor game. But look at this. 94, 77, and his last 5 now then, he's only had one bad score of 37, played 81 minutes there, but then 67, 70s, he's up there. He's now starting to get 90 minutes in each game. What's that, the last 8-9 games? He's played the whole 90. He's been playing right back and a couple at centre back as well. When he played centre back here, he hit a goal and an assist at centre back. So maybe he was in the box more for the corners and stuff. But really came into his own then, and then moved him back to right back and has continued in a good form. So I think he's really now peaking at the top of his game for now. You see, he's only missed a couple of games then since getting. Look at all his assists. If we go to his chart here, then we'll see he's had 28 games with 7 assists. Now they're not all starts, are they? Sorry, 28 of them are starts, but then 2 on the bench, 2 coming on and 8 where he stayed on the bench. So, and also a penalty kick one. So he gets himself forward quite a lot as well, which is why he's a high-scoring defender, I would have thought. Looking at Leuven themselves, how are they getting on in the league at the moment? They're down in 9th, but I think that's slightly better than what I would have expected. Anderlecht to be below them still, so you'd expect them to push up again. But looking at the way he's playing, he's sort of on the right, but he's more like a right winger, the way he flies past them 3 in the midfield. Now, is he on any of these scores here? Yeah, he's in 3rd place in the all-round average. He is. Top scores is in 5th place. So have a look if there's anything else in there. Like minutes played, yes, he's getting every game now, as we can see. Top net decisives, he's got 3 there altogether in the last 15 games. This is, yeah, last 15 games. His all-round is decent, isn't he? Top assists, he's got 1 then 15 games, but he's got a few more. If we make that up to 40 games, he'll have a few more than that. But he doesn't take free kicks or anything. But a really good player for these, and always in action because they're not flying up the league, are they? Let's have a look at his SOFA score then. Now, 21 years old on this. He's quite tall, isn't he? 187. Let me just look on this a sec. So he's 5'11" and a half. So almost 6 foot. For a wing back or a right back, that's quite tall. But you can see here, he's up and down this wing non-stop. And when he's played centre back, that's why he's got a few red marks in that central position. But played 22, started 20, team of the week 5 times in 22 starts, 2 goals, and 6 assists in these games that he's played in this league. So I think he's pretty decent. 2 clean sheets. Could be a really good player to put into your side for that. And going back to his Wikipedia then, you see he's from Belgium. He's been with Standard Liège when he started and then went to Leuven. Played a few more games than that now because he's out of date slightly. But then you'll see his international career as well. He's going to follow it up, I would have thought, and he'll break into that national side. He may have already done that. He may break into that already into the squad. If you can answer that in the comments below, let me know if he has or not. There's nothing about him like moving or anything, so I think he's going to be a really good player. And that's the one I've chosen. It is Louis Patrice from Leuven, and he plays at sort of right back, come centre back. But also looking at the rest of the players that I've picked on this list, there's mounts of players here, and he's one of the top ones in the top price one that I went for because he's so good, I think. But you know, going down here, you can look at any price down to £6.78, and this guy's pretty good as well, but not played the last few games. But you know, even Brian Reynolds, Boris Lambert's in there. We mentioned him earlier. Bjorn Meyer almost got into this. I thought he was a decent player, Brian Meyer. And Mackenzie in the back. So some real good players to choose from there. This list, as I say, is down below in the link. Go and have a look at it. And now we move on to the midfield position then. And a few of you will know that this is another one of my favourite players. And Senny Leinen, he's at the moment playing for Union Saint-Gilles. He is under 23 only until July. So you haven't got long with him now. You've got like this last 4 or 5 months with him. Obviously 7 months before he hits his 24-year-old, but playing terms, you've only got like half the season left, so it might be get in and get out of him again when he improves and gets his price pushed up, unless you keep him after he's played his under 23 utility. But Galice are flying at the moment, did quite well in Europe as well. This one's been a mainstay in the team this year, and he didn't get in. He was sort of in the team, and then he got out because Teddy Chuma was out and came back, and Chuma took his place. But then, broke in again, he got injured for like ages. He was out for nearly a year, or it seemed like a year. And he's come back and he's slowly getting back into it, and he's now making that position his own, massively. Him and Teddy Chuma are now playing together in that central midfield. So decent. He's like a poor man's Teddy Chuma, doesn't score as many goals or assists, but he's only 23, Chuma's a little bit older. But you know, looking at his price, this is one of the, I think it's the cheapest midfielder I've got listed. And his 10.93 is the cheapest price, and that's also his 3-day out. It's his floor price, it's the cheapest one. So midfield plays on the left side of midfield, and Chuma plays on the right hand side of him. So big midfielder. I want to have a look at his price graph because it went sort of up and down a little bit. And he's one of the first players I bought because I saw him doing really well. And I bought this one ages ago as well. I've had quite a few of him, but I bought this one for 15 quid. He's been up and down, just around that 15 quid again mark. 11 quid look. So he's gone down slightly in price, but he always plays. Plays in nearly all the games, 80% there. Excuse me, and 68% of his last 40. But you'll see it includes a few injuries in here. So we'll look at his scores. We will see his overall scores. He had a lot of DMPs, and this is when he was injured then, from game week 210 to game week 272. He was injured, got back in slightly, and is now starting to improve again. Not quite to the Chuma territory, but for 23, under 23, he's decent. You see, he's been playing centre midfield. When he pushes forward, he's got an assist when he did push forward. But a bit like Gravenbach, when he plays that number sort of 10 role, between 8 and 10, he does all right. I think he does a lot better than he does as like a holding player. As Teddy Chuma pushes forward, he sort of holds. There's some decent scores coming in there. You can see he's played nearly every single game since his injury. He's come back in, a mainstay in the team, and they're flying at the moment in the division, which we'll check out now. You see, I think they're in second, aren't they, behind Genk. And yeah, you'll see here, Gleason second, 15 wins, 4 draws and 3 defeats. Did really well last season, didn't they? And you'll also see up here then, let's put it in the last 40 actually, because I haven't checked the last 40. See, Sonny Lining's in there, he's third on the averages. And what, fifth on the all-round averages. So his all-round game's pretty decent as well. He's got against some big players here. Teddy Cheeman, Van Zier, they're all the big games, aren't they? Big names, sorry. So he's not in the top minutes played there, is he? Can't see him in the last 50. Remember, he hasn't played the full last 40. It might be better putting this to last 15. You'll see it'll give you a better idea. Yeah, Lining's up there, look, and them two. He's also second in the top minutes played in the last 15. We go down the assists, he's got 3 and then 15 games. And he does take, he's had a free kick there. Free kicks, had one where he shot at goal and didn't score. Free kick assists then, 33%, it's not bad, 1 in 3. But then also on corners, he does take them with Teddy Cheeman as well. I think it's 1 each side, to be honest, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Pretty good so far. Looking at his SOFA score then, good scores here. His last 5 games are really good, aren't they? You can see he's all over the pitch. He does play in the central position here on the left-hand side. But he's up and down. Chuma goes, he stays, and he goes, Chuma stays. So they work really well together. Total played 21 games, started 20. I've done team of the week twice. What else have we got? Passing 3 assists. Tackling interceptions each game is 2. He's pretty good. He's an all-round midfielder, I think. But this is his Wikipedia. We'll go to this and have a look at his stats. He's 23, 6'1", which is quite big. Central midfielder, which should get in the box a bit more and score a few more goals. He started out here at Bruges, went on loan to Telstar, and ended up at Union. He has played for the under-17s for Belgium and the under-19s as well. Now, there's no big news on him, so he's not being watched by anyone. I think he's still coming back from that injury. You know, it's his first season back after a long, long injury, so people are probably just looking out, you know, what's going on with him there. That's my midfielder then, and that is Sonny Lining. He's really cheap as well, remember. Sonny Lining, Union St. Gilles. And we'll have a look at the midfielders that I did pick them, because there weren't many, to be honest. I didn't pick loads of these. But you can see here, the one at the top, £38, all the way down to Lining at £10. It's by far the cheapest one that I did go for. Even Yariva Sharon's in there, and he's quite cheap, so like £31 for a wonder kid. Really cheap. So we will move on to my first forward. Now we come to our first forward then, and I'm going to go for Nene Dogelis or Dogelis. He's a sort of left striker, can also play in the wing as well. He's playing for Westerlo in the Belgian league, obviously. He's only 20 years old. He's on loan from Red Bull's Salzburg, and he's under 23 utility until 2027. So loads and loads of time for this guy to improve. You see his price up there, only £19. Just want to look at the price graph, but £19 then is his sort of floor price at the moment, which is really cheap, I think, for a decent forward who's under 23, playing in the Belgian league at the moment. Whether he goes back or not to Salzburg, we'll see. Nothing's been said yet. But let's have a look at his 1 year pricing then. Now I've got him quite high here because he's hit form just recently, and I got him for £31. But he's back down now, as you can see, at 20. So a real good steal now if you can get in quick and get him. Because you can see up here when he was at Salzburg, he had a bit of promise and that. He's quite high priced, so he's come down quite a lot, and he's not hitting massive form at the moment. He's okay, but he's not hitting massive form. Look at his SO5 scores then, and we'll have a look at the whole time he's been on the game. And you'll see here, not great look, there's a lot of 20s and stuff, but on the average he's hitting like the 40s to 50s. But he sort of either hits, yeah, I'm saying the average there, but he's either hitting like 40 or 70, 80. Not bad, he's got 8 goals and 4 assists in 24 games. Let's say he's more of a sort of winger than a striker. But I don't mind that. He's sort of in and out of the team as well. He's one of these players that can change a game when he comes on. And here you'll see again, only 55. So he's not playing every game, is he? Look, he's playing like 3/4 of the game when he starts. Then he started playing a bit more. He's had a red card there as well. Look at that on 73, and he's got a goal and an assist, but also a yellow card. But he's not playing, he doesn't get to the end many times, does he? But just recently, a 90 and an 89. So that's where he stands for them. And Westerlo, I didn't expect a lot from these, to be honest, but they've done quite well this year. They've got 2 decent strikers now as well, haven't they? In Lyle Foster as well. Lyle Foster, sorry. Kibos gets in the games now and again and does quite well. But Douglas stuck out on the left as a 3rd striker. And I'll look at his last 15 here then. And he's not really in there with his top averages because he's not getting enough game time, I don't think. But net averages, he gets in there, like he's got 5. And minutes played, again, he's not the top because he keeps getting substituted or not even on the pitch to start with. But again, 4 goals there. And is there anything else on here that we've seen? Dogway's there with 2 assists. So he's getting quite high up on the listings here without doing too much, if you see what I mean. But Vestal going quite well, I think, in the league. Looking at his sulphur score, doesn't sort of like stand out as anything, does he? He's just one of these players that's getting alright scores, but I think he could explode quite soon. He's 20 years old, he's a Mali international as well. But you can see he's sort of on the left wing more than anywhere else. But he has played up front a little bit, and I wouldn't call him an out-and-out striker, which is why I put him in as my second striker in the team instead of going for another midfielder, because I think he'll score a bit more than a normal midfielder would. But played 18, only started 11 of them, 55 minutes per game. But he has hit 6 goals. That's quite a lot for him for the time he's played, and 2 assists. And we won't have a look at defending or anything like that, but in fact, let's look at his dribbles. Not brilliant then, total duels won are okay. So you'd think he's just like an average player, but this guy I think is really going to explode anytime now. Looking at his Wikipedia then, as I say, he's a Mali international. He's only 5'9", so sort of average sort of height. They've got him as an attacking midfielder on here. Like I say, he's a forward on the game, but an attacking midfielder in real life as such. He's on loan at Westerlo from Salzburg. Played for Liefering, is it? And Reed also, I think they're Austrian clubs, aren't they? So went from Salzburg to drop down to these lower sides, and then went on to play for Westerlo here, where they're since hit 4 goals, but it's out of date slightly. But 4 games for Mali as well. Mali's not the best team in the world, is it? But at least he's an international guy playing for them. There's no news about him, whether he stays at Salzburg or moves on, or there's nothing. There's no one coming for transfer news. Unless you've heard anything, let me know below as well. But the last 5 of 46 and 100% of the games. Last 15 of 48. I think he could improve massively, and at £19, I think that's a bit of a steal. So that's my first forward, Nene Dorgeles from Westerlo. And we're looking to our last player then, which is also our second forward. Now, he's down as a forward, it's Thibaut Sommers. He's down as a forward playing for Cercle Bruges. He's under 23 just until July, so again, you haven't got loads of utility at under 23 level with him. But he's down as a forward, but he also has 79 midfield cards, but he's got 833 as a forward. So they put him down as a forward on soraredata. You can get either card, I'm guessing, but I'm going to put him in my team as a forward here then. Now his last 5 of 59, playing 100% of the games. And this is for Cercle Bruges, not the best side. And 57 over the last 15, 48 over his last 40. So he's improving slightly on his last 40 scores. I didn't know a lot about this guy, and I looked at him and I saw his scores and thought, I've got to go and have a look at this. And at £17, I think he's the second highest forward that I've got on my list. Second lowest price on my list, I should say. Between him and Dorgeles, he's the next one up. Now, I want to have a look at his 1 yearly pricing then. Because he's down to £17 there, and you'll see again, he started off, he was up at like £38 and the price has dropped down. I don't know what was going on here, we'll have a look at his scores in a minute. And I've got him sort of halfway down on the slope again where he's coming down. I've got him for 22, but he has been up there at like £40. I think another couple of goals and he might be cracking on again with the price as well. Now, let's look at his scores. And we'll say, I think there's a decent scores, you know. I'll have a look at his all-time scores as well. And you'll see here, he started off in a sub all the time. He's always getting the sub, but he's only young, wasn't he? He's 23 now, is he? So yeah, he's probably quite young down here, 22 and that. Not really breaking in, not setting anything on fire. And then boom, his career sort of took off here. He was playing every game with a bit of an injury here, before getting back in again as sub, and then making that place his own. And it sort of took off. Look at these scores he's getting here, 70s. For a player that's pretty cheap as well. Now if we look down his overall position in here, you'll see he's been like right midfield rather than a striker. But also plays behind the front man as well. The last 2 games he's done that. And a couple of goals going in there as well. Not as many as I would like, but 9 and 2 assists there in 43 games. So it's not massive on that, but his all-round game is probably average as well. I mean, he's had a good game there, 28 for his all-round score, but as a forward come midfielder, I think he's alright there. A lot of greens on that. Now looking where Cercle Bruges are in the league, again I think they've done better than what I expected again. And they're up in 10th at the moment then. Won 8, drawn 6, lost 8. It's not like a great season, it's just average, everything's sort of average here. But if we have a look at the SL, we'll go for the last 15 games here then, and he's top on the averages there. I think he's improving again, bit by bit. He's improving and improving, and getting used to the way that he's playing. They've got 3 or 4 decent forwards here then, and you see again on his averages there, his all-round averages of 14 is his over the last 15 games. That's not too bad. Denke's playing quite well up front also, so somebody's feeding off him and Ueda, and they've got Hotic as well to come back. So I think he'll only get better. I can't see him getting dropped when Hotic gets back. So I think he's here to stay. Let's have a look down here. Yeah, only 2 goals in the last 15 then, and 2 assists as well. Not really on penalties, and he has had like 1 corner, so he's not really in corners either. Not on the set pieces, but I think he's going to be a really good player. It sounds like I'm not interested about him, but I am. I think he's going to explode again. 23 years old, he's a midfielder. This is what they've got him on Wikipedia then. 34 games for Cercle Bruges. Not an international yet, hasn't really burst through, so I think when he does that, you know, it could be someone decent. Has he got his height in there? It's not got his height in there, has it? Let's have a look at SofaScore then. And the heat map you'll see is up and down that right wing. It looks like a wing back almost. They've got him as a right winger come striker, and his weakness is passing, believe it or not. I hope he's good at crossing. He's up and down that right wing. Has taken like 1 corner, I think, on that side. But started 19, so played 19, started 19, plays most of the game when he does, and then 2 goals as well in that 19. 2 assists. And duels won, he's quite good at winning duels there, 52%. And he stepped up from the reserves. I think he's going to be a decent player for these. When they get all their forwards back and they're all hitting off, I think, you know, Thibault Summers is one to look out for. Very cheap at the moment, £17. I think it can only rise, but that's just me. Let's go and have a look at the list and the watch list that we picked for them forwards. There's quite a few on here. You see Tajan Buchanan, Kevin Denke, who's another one that's at Bruges as well, Cercle Bruges. Federa, Esposito, who's sort of been injured in and out of the team, not really starting yet, hasn't really hit the ground with them. I think he will do. But I've put these last 2 here, and the cheapest ones I've put in the team, which I think looks pretty decent then. But that's my watch list. You'll see it there, the Belgium U23's Wakey Academy. Go to soraredata, have a look up at that, and you can also look in the link below. You'll find the link there, take you straight to it. So there you go, then there's the watch list then. Top player there, Leonard Molson, the goalkeeper, £61. Floor price all the way down to £6.79 for Stelios and Drew. So a lot of different prices there. Decent squad to look at. Remember, go and have a look at Belgium U23's on Wakey Academy. There's a link below as well to check that out. Now, let's go to the actual team. And here you'll see then, in the SL5 format, the Belgium U23's, Lennart Molzer in goal. We have got Louis Patrice there from Leuven as defender. Senny Leinen in that midfield. Not the best of players in that midfield for him, but a real bang, how can I say it? Bang scores out every single week. Pretty much decent scores as well. Not a lot of low parts to his game. And Nenny Dalglish, who I think is going to explode soon, as well as Thibault Summers in Cercle Bruges, who I think is going to be massive. So that's my 5 there. We've got 1 keeper, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 2 forwards, although they are sort of midfielder forwards, attacking midfielders. So that's my Belgium squad then for the under-23s. So remember, you can catch me on Twitter, on Discord, even at the bottom of the YouTube videos you can comment if you want, and I'll get back to you. But my Twitter profile there you'll see Sorare Wakey Academy. You can come down here and you'll see my affiliate link, so if you join up with me, you'll be able to get into my group. I'm a WhatsApp group, but you can also buy 5 cards at auctions and get 1 free, and I'll probably chuck in a couple as well for you to get you started and make sure you get a team to get going. And you see my YouTube channels on there as well, so you can click on them and get into the links and see all that business there. So if you've liked this, thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, go and hit that subscribe, and you'll see all the other content and the countries that we've been around so far, covering a lot of Europe. And even the MLS as well. And we're probably going to go to Asia. I'm not sure if that's the next one we'll do. But I've also got that video coming up with Matt Bride Ace, where we're going to talk about mainly goalkeepers, youth goalkeepers, but also having a look at a few young players that we think are really going to explode and hit the mark. And they'll be coming up pretty soon then. I think that's going to be out maybe this week. So we'll just sort that out and get that out as well. Alright, so thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care.